The Northern Gardens. In Tudor times, Henry VIII's great orchard occupied the land to the north of the palace, but during the reign of William III, this entire area, known as the Wilderness, was planted out with tall clipped hedges in geometric patterns. The maze, planted in 1702, is the only remaining part of this original layout. Today these gardens are famous for their splendid carpet of spring flowers. Clock Court was originally the inner courtyard of Wolsey's house, but has been much altered since. Above the gateway is the famous astronomical clock, made for Henry VIII in 1540 by Nicholas Orsian, deviser of the King's clocks. The Great Hall is the largest room in the palace, 106 feet long, 40 feet wide and over 60 feet high. It had two functions: first, to provide a communal dining room where 600 or so members could eat in 2 sittings twice a day, and secondly, to provide a magnificent entrance to the state apartments which lay beyond. The King's apartments were built for William III, 1689 to 1702, at the end of the 17th century by Sir Christopher Wren, on the site of Henry VIII's old state apartments. The Queen's private dining rooms. The King's Privy Chamber was the principal ceremonial room in the palace. In here ambassadors were received and court functions held. The King's Great Bedchamber was principally a ceremonial room where the King was dressed each morning in front of privileged courtiers. The Queen's Gallery was built as Queen Mary's private gallery, but she never used it due to her premature death in 1694. In 1700, the orangery was described as the greenhouse, because it was in here that orange and bay trees were kept during the winter months, when the room was heated by 2 stoves. Fountain Court was designed by Sir Christopher Wren for William III to replace Henry VIII's courtyard, which stood on the same site. Beyond the east front gardens is Home Park with the Great Canal or Long Water, dug for Charles II in the 1660s. The gardens to the south of the palace have always been the private gardens, and are separated from the river by an ornamental ironwork screen by the French blacksmith Jean Tijoux. These 3 sunken gardens were originally ornamental ponds used for holding freshwater fish until they were needed in the kitchens for cooking. Today they contain impressive displays of bedding. The Great Vine, planted in 1768 by Capability Brown, is the oldest known vine in the world and still produces 500 to 700 pounds of grapes each year. When Cardinal Wolsey started to extend Hampton Court in 1514, one of the first things he began to do was build the kitchens, which cater for his household of approximately 600. The Chocolate Kitchen. The Tudor court drank about 300 barrels of ale a year and an almost equal quantity of wine, which was stored in 3 cellars, all of which can be seen today.